Level 1. New buyer. Level 1. The new buyer. The cursor blinks in an empty box, your Bitcoin wallet address. Nothing typed yet. Your finger hovers over the keyboard. You've read the guides twice. Download Tor. Never use your real name. Never use your home Wi-Fi. This is supposed to make you invisible. That was the promise, anyway. Whoever built this thing wrote it down once in a private journal, years before you ever heard the name Silk Road. He wanted a place where people could buy anything anonymously, with no trail whatsoever that could lead back to them. You are not thinking about him. You are thinking about the order in your cart. By the time you place it, you are one buyer among more than 100,000. Somewhere behind the screen, nearly 4,000 vendors are competing for exactly this moment. Your finger, hesitating, then pressing enter. The system was built for this. Tor hides where you are. Bitcoin hides who you are. Two technologies stitched together so that no single transaction could ever point back to a person. You believe it. Most people do. You don't see the vendor's warehouse. You don't see the server, hidden behind 3 continents of relay nodes. You only see a confirmation page and a tracking number that isn't really a tracking number at all. It feels like nothing happened. No storefront, no cashier, no name. Just a cursor, blinking again, waiting for the next thing you'll want badly enough to trust a stranger for. You close the laptop. You think the risk ends there. It doesn't. It just changes shape, and it starts climbing through every rank above you, all the way to a name that isn't even a real name. He thought the trail ended with him. It hadn't even started yet. Level 2. Repeat customer. Level 2. The repeat customer. You know the drill now. Check the rating first. 5 stars, then 4. Anything lower, you scroll past. A page glows back at you, laid out like any ordinary shopping site. Reviews, delivery windows, a small badge that says, Trusted. It's supposed to feel safe. That's the trick. By the time federal prosecutors finally counted, more than 100,000 buyers had passed through this one marketplace. You are one line in that number. So is everyone else scrolling next to you at this exact moment in a country you'll never visit. You never ask who's rating the rater. Some vendors vanish for weeks, then reappear under a slightly different name. You don't ask why. You just check the new rating. If it's high enough, you order again. The habit sets in faster than the fear does. That's the part nobody warns you about. Not the risk, the comfort. Somewhere several ranks above you, in a place you'll never see, a stranger is deciding which vendors even get shown to buyers like you at all. A stranger you will never meet is curating your sense of safety. You don't think about that. You think about tracking numbers and whether this batch will be as good as the last one. The cursor blinks on the order page. Same as always. Familiar now. Almost boring. Boring is exactly what the system wants you to feel. What you don't ask is who's rating the rater, and what happens to the ones who stop being useful to whoever sits above them. Level 3. Unranked vendor. Level 3. The unranked vendor. Your listing has no stars yet, no reviews. It sits at the bottom of a search page, buried under thousands of others exactly like it. You didn't expect this part, that an illegal marketplace would still make you compete like a small business owner on an ordinary storefront. Photos, descriptions, shipping promises you have to keep. Government evidence would later confirm the scale you're competing inside. 3,877 vendors moved product through this site before it fell. You are trying to become vendor number 3878, or better, one of the ones who actually gets noticed. There is no manager to complain to, no union, only a rating system, copied almost exactly from ordinary e-commerce stars. Written reviews, a reputation score that decides whether anyone trusts you enough to send Bitcoin first. Reputation is the only currency here that outranks the currency itself. You ship your first order well. No complaints. A buyer leaves you 4 stars. It isn't much, but it's the first brick in something that didn't exist yesterday. A version of you the system can trust. You don't know yet that trust, in this hierarchy, comes with its own quiet cost. The more of it you build, the harder it becomes to disappear. Reputation was the only currency that mattered more than Bitcoin. Level 4. Verified Vendor. Level 4. The Verified Vendor. A notification appears. Your account has been upgraded. Your listings are no longer visible to new, unverified buyers. You've earned something the marketplace calls stealth mode. It sounds like power. Mostly, it's a leash with better lighting. Now, only buyers you've already sold to, or ones vetted through the forums, can find you. Fewer eyes, fewer risks. Also, fewer chances to grow beyond what you already are. Your escrow releases automatically now. No more waiting on a moderator to manually confirm a trade. The system trusts you the way a bank trusts a customer with a long, clean credit history. It's strange trusting a felony the same way you'd trust a mortgage. You start to notice something else, too. The vendors above you, the ones moving real weight, don't advertise much at all. They don't need to. Reputation already did the advertising for them. You want to be one of them. You don't yet understand that trusted and safe were never the same word in this hierarchy. Only one of them was ever true. The platform doesn't know it yet, but the money is about to get heavier. Level 5. Wholesale Vendor. Level 5. The Wholesale Vendor. The package on your table is heavier than anything you've shipped before. Not grams, kilograms. This isn't a marketplace transaction anymore. This is trafficking, wearing the interface of an online store. Every sale you make, the platform takes its cut first. A commission, quietly deducted before anything ships. Over its lifetime, the site is estimated to have collected more than 600,000 Bitcoin in commissions alone, according to the government's own complaint. An anti-establishment marketplace, and it still runs on a tax. You tell yourself it's fair. The site gave you the buyers, the encryption, the escrow that keeps both sides honest, or honest enough. What the system actually gave you was infrastructure, Tor to hide the location, Bitcoin to hide the money, both engineered from the start so that no single transaction could be traced back to a person. That was true when you were level 1. It's still true now, except now there's far more to lose if it stops being true. You don't ask who built that infrastructure, or why he built it so well. The platform took its cut before the shipment even left the room. Level 6. Forum Moderator. Level 6. The Forum Moderator. You don't buy anything anymore. You don't sell anything either. You just keep the peace. A buyer says they were scammed. A vendor says the buyer is lying. Neither of them can call the police, so they call you. There is no court here, except the one you're running from a laptop, in a browser tab, between forum categories with names like Customer Report and Vendor Discussion. Somewhere in the site's back end, a programmer known only as SMED is being paid $2,500 a week more than anyone else on staff to keep this entire structure from collapsing. You've never met him. You just know the site rarely goes down. Someone has to keep the machine polite while it breaks the law. Today, that someone is you. You settle the dispute. You issue a warning. You move to the next thread. It feels almost administrative, almost boring, the way Level 2 felt boring to a buyer who'd stopped noticing the risk. That should worry you more than it does. Someone had to keep the machine polite while it broke the law. Level 7. Site Administrator. Level 7. The Site Administrator. You have access now. Real access, the back end, the escrow wallets, the servers nobody else on staff has even seen the location of. An encrypted message arrives from someone who calls himself the Righty Jones. He's never given a real name. He doesn't need to. According to later reporting, he was one of the earliest people to advise the site's founder, pointing out security holes, helping speed up the platform, even suggesting the pseudonym the founder would use from then on. You realize something that unsettles you. The man everyone above you answers to, the one they call Dread Pirate Roberts, has someone he answers to as well. Power here isn't a single point. It's a chain of people who trust each other, exactly as much as they have to, and no more. You start locking your own laptop screen every time you step away, just for a few seconds, just in case. You tell yourself that's paranoia. It isn't. It's math. The same math that will eventually catch someone much higher than you. The man everyone obeyed had a boss no one knew existed. Level 8. Second in command / crisis point. Level 8. Second in command. A photograph arrives over encrypted chat. It shows a man tied to a chair, beaten. The man in the photo is Curtis Green, an employee suspected of skimming funds from the site's escrow. According to court filings, Dread Pirate Roberts first asked an undercover agent posing as a cartel enforcer to torture him for information, then decided, in his own words, to have him killed instead. Prosecutors say roughly $40,000 in Bitcoin was wired as partial payment for the killing. The photograph is fake. Green is alive. The entire scene was staged by federal agents to see how far Dread Pirate Roberts would go. He goes far enough to pay. You don't know this yet, sitting at your own terminal several ranks below him. You just know the orders coming down have changed tone. Colder, more specific, less room for questions. Meanwhile, a DEA agent working the case, a man using the alias Knob, is doing the opposite of his job. According to his own later guilty plea, he was extorting Bitcoin from the very target he was supposed to be investigating. Everyone in this hierarchy, on both sides of the law, is being run by someone they can't fully see. He had built a system with no police, so he became one instead. Level 9. Dread Pirate Roberts. Level 9. Dread Pirate Roberts. You control everything now. The servers, the commissions, the name that 100,000 strangers trust without ever seeing your face. You are also, by design, the most isolated person in the entire hierarchy. No one below you knows who you really are. The one person who might, Variety Jones, has never shown you a face either. On an ordinary afternoon, you're sitting in the science fiction aisle of a public library, laptop open, logged into the site's admin panel. Two strangers start arguing behind you, loud enough to make you look up. That's the moment federal agents have been waiting for. One of them lifts your laptop the instant you stand, before you can slam the lid shut. An agent will later testify that if the lid had closed even 1 second sooner, the encryption inside would have been unbreakable. It doesn't close in time. Inside that laptop is a personal journal, organized by year, then quarter, then month, then week. Years of your own handwriting, explaining exactly what you built and why. You are sentenced to 2 life terms plus 40 years. No parole. No one was ever killed. The photographs were fake. The sentence isn't. The man who thought he'd disappeared was found in under 3 seconds. Level 10. The system itself. Level 10. The system itself. Barely a month after your arrest makes international news, a new login page appears online. Same layout, same rules, same name signed at the bottom. Dread Pirate Roberts. It isn't you. It was never only you. The new administrator eventually hands control to a deputy known as DEFCON, the same way power moved through unnamed hands above you back when you were only level 7, wondering who your boss's boss really was. The name was never a person. It was a chair, something that could be picked up by whoever sat down next. In January 2025, a president signs a pardon. You walk out of federal prison after nearly 12 years. Forgiven. Free. Done. The name is not free. It never was a person, so it can't be pardoned. It can only be picked up again, somewhere else, by someone else, under a new set of letters that mean the same thing. Disappear, and trust that no one follows. Somewhere, right now, someone is opening that login page for the first time. The buyer who first opened Tor never learned a name. The man who once ran an empire from a library chair became a name, not a person, the moment he sat down in it. Both were replaceable the instant they logged in. Ulbricht walked free in 2025. Dread Pirate Roberts was never pardoned, because it was never a person to begin with. It was only ever a chair, waiting. Neither of you was ever free, only differently watched. A laptop sits open on a library chair, screen glowing, cursor blinking mid-sentence. Seconds later, 2 strangers stage an argument beside it, just long enough for an agent to grab the laptop before the lid can close. Inside is Silk Road, an anonymous marketplace that moved an estimated $183 million in illegal drugs. Built by a man calling himself Dread Pirate Roberts. He thought disappearing meant leaving no trail. By the end, you'll understand why that name outlived the man who first wore it. The